Well, hi, Bob Ruggiero. How are you today?
Well, hello, Alex Anderson. I'm doing quite well. This is a very, very exciting time, very exciting day here.
It really is. Today, we're going to show the winners of the Houston International Quilt Show. But, Bob, how long have you been with Quilts Inc.?
I've been with Quilting for nearly 30 years, so I've seen a lot of shows come and go.
And they've seen you grow up, I guess. I don't know. I don't
Let's just say I had no gray hair when I started
know.
here at Quilting Company. So,
Well, I'm impressed there's only that much. So, anyways, I know a lot of people are watching. There's a lot of excitement about who are the winners this year. And I just want to say straight up to everybody, I felt the quilts were spectacular, absolutely spectacular. And so, well, let's just get going, okay? So, what we're doing here today is we are going over the winners of the International Quilt Festival Judge Show 2025. It's being held this year at the George R. Brown Convention Center in downtown Houston, Texas. The dates are, okay, people, this is a little different. The dates are October 9th through 12th, 2025. So pay attention to that. If you go at the end of October, you're going to be really, really sad because you're going to be missing some absolutely spectacular quilts, vendors, and all the good stuff that goes along with the International Quilt Festival.
and we've got a special message from our founder and director emeritus of Quilt Festival. That would be Carrie Bresenhan. She says, I know you'll agree that this year's finalist quilts show some truly phenomenal artistry and creativity. I hope that many of you get to see them in person in Houston next month.
You know, it's always great to see Carrie and Nancy were on the when they're on the floor. I love that. I love that. When I think of what they've done, just wow. Okay, so let's talk about numbers. I love numbers. The 2025 International Quilt Festival has more than 1,100 quilts on display, 33 themed exhibits, plus, of course, the judge show, 575 shopping booths, and 250 plus classes from world class teachers. World, that's right, from around the world. And the quilt you're looking at right now is in one of the special exhibits. Now, I just want to put this in your brains for next year. It's going to be at a different time again. The 2026 International Quilt Festival in Houston is going to be November 19 through the 22nd. Again, note the later dates. Preview night will be on November 18th, and then the classes and events will begin on November 16th.
And when you're at the show, be sure to pick up a copy of the Quintessential Quilt, or Q Squared as we call it, the official festival show program. It's going to have photos and art statements for all the winning quilts you'll see today, as well as lists of all the exhibitors, all the quilts on display, schedules, everything you need to know. And it's only $2, and that's going to be the cheapest thing you buy all day at the festival.
That's for sure. So the International Quilt Festival Judge Show awards presentation is again by myself, Alex Anderson, and Bob Ruggiero.
The first one of the awards that we won't be able to announce today is the Viewer's Choice Award. Now, this is voted on by all the quilt show attendees. You can put your ballot in at the special exhibits desk. Any of the finalist quilts are eligible. It's a $750 prize sponsored by Quilters Rule, and we'll be announcing that at Festival at 1 p.m. on Sunday, October 12th. So if you're watching all the finalist quilts, be sure to vote for your favorite.
Now, the Judges' Choice Awards are sponsored by Oregon Needles. And what that's about is that when the judges are doing their thing and picking the quilts for all the categories, and it's hard because the quilts are so wonderful, there's always one that might be in the judge's mind going, well, I like that one, even though it didn't slide into one of the categories. And so that's what we're going to be looking at first. And again, the money is coming from Oregon Needles. So we thank you for that. Andrea Brokenshire, who was a judge, picked Turning of the Wheel by Pamela Trantham of Gibbon, Nebraska, in the United States. Here's what Pamela has to say. This quilt was based on a medicine wheel with spiritual symbols from across culture and time. The East stands for enlightenment, the South for plants and emotion, the West for earth and ancestors, and the North for the wind, thunder, and animals. It was bound with a hand appliqué sawtooth binding that extends the color for each direction into the edge of piece. It's an original design, and the techniques used were hand appliqué, embroidery, and quilting, including trapunto. Now, I was a judge, and this is my choice. This is Flowering Bush, and it is by Ludmila Bronstein of Haifa, Israel. Here's the artist statement. My inspiration for this work was the magnification spring bloom of jacaranda and bougainvillea vines. I admired the flowers, then came home and cut and sewed strips of fabrics in matching colors. I collected them together so that they showed us all of the beauty and joy of life. It's an original design, and it was machine pieced and quilted. And then the other judge was Sue Nichols, and she chose Visual Voyage by Inger Blood of Camino, California. I experimented with modern designs of grays and values of cotton fabrics. The traditional star blocks and the surrounding area were designed in EQ8 and paper pieced. The black fabric is radiance to create a crisp and shiny look. The design is an other design, not original, with permission from Carrie Shell On Point Quilter. It was machine pieced and quilted using ruler work and paper piecing. And I want to take this moment to say that we as judges worked very well together. We sometimes had different ideas, but we certainly had freedom to discuss them and have very healthy, agreements and discussions about the whole thing. But in the end, we were in accordance. So I think that is a wonderful statement. And I'm going to say Quilts Inc. really has this system down pat. All right, here we go to the next category, Bob.
So, for all our category awards, these are cash non purchase prizes provided by our generous sponsors. For the category awards, first place is $1,000, second place is $700, and third place is $300. So, let's get started with the categories. And our first one will be Pieced Quilts, and this is sponsored by AccuQuilt and June Taylor. So, in third place, we have No Direction Home by Randa Mulford of Mountain View, California. Randa says No Direction Home is 4 small improved piece quilts based on the same original design and sewn from the same palette of colors. The 4 panels can be rearranged to create very different compositions. Unfortunately, I can only show one of them here. Thanks to Maria Schell for encouraging me to go big. Now, this design was inspired by the work of Maria Schell and also traditional Seminole patterns, and the techniques used were machine piecing and quilting, along with ruler work. Congratulations, Randa. And in second place, we have Sprite Lightning by Barb Sorensen of Alcoa, Tennessee. Barb says, I began this quilt just playing with bits of hand-painted fabric and scraps from previous projects, adding and deleting design elements as I worked, and building shadow with discharge and quilting. I enjoy working with the design-as-you-go process. I had no idea what to name the finished quilt, so I sent out a Name the Quilt plea to my family. My granddaughter Claire named it. Thanks, Claire. This is an original design. The techniques involved are hand painting and discharge dyeing, machine piecing and quilting, and ruler work. Congratulations, Barb. And in first place, we have It's Only Grass, but It's Grass by Masa Yanagimito from Takamaru City, Kagawa, Japan. Masa says, I created an original pattern on the theme of grass using flowers from the flower beds as borders. I respect their tenacity to survive despite being trampled on, exposed to the sun, and eaten by insects. So this is an original design, and the techniques used were hand piecing, applique, embroidery, trapunto, and quilting. So congratulations, Masa.
Up next, we have Pictorial, sponsored by World of Quilts Travel. Let's start with third place. Spark Dancer by Shi Shen Shu, New Taipei City, Taiwan. Depicting a Kinman blacksmith forging steel amidst a burst of sparks, this piece symbolizes the fusion of traditional craftsmanship and contemporary art, paying tribute to the artist's spirit and cultural heritage. Using mosaic patchwork and a tonal separation, the work highlights the contrast between heat and focus. Each fabric piece mirrors every strike of the hammer, layering tradition, craftsmanship, and passion. It is an original design and it has hand piecing, machine piecing, embroidery, and quilting. Congratulations, Sheila. It's beautiful. Second place goes to Arcane Snap by Kestrel Mashad of West Melbourne, Florida. Kestrel says, this boy and his dog were in the right place at the right time to witness an arcane snap, which is like a magical earthquake. Over time, magical energy builds up pressure until it finally lets go. Just like a tremor, some snaps are benign. The one shown in this quilt is no more than a very colorful light show, but sometimes snaps can have a powerful, lasting, and unexpected effects on the surrounding area. It's an original design, and her techniques were professional fabric printing and machine quilting. Congratulations, Kestrel. First place category in Pictorial goes to Peony Dream by Shenjing of Beijing, China. She says this quilt draws inspiration from the Peony Pavilion, a classical Chinese opera about love transcending mortal bounds. It depicts a young maiden enchanted by a spring garden's bloom, drifting into a dream where she meets an elegant young scholar. The work interweaves realistic human figures along with illustrations and calligraphy from an ancient Chinese book, along with symbol laden patterns using silk and sheer fabric. This is an original design, and she used the techniques of hand embellishment, embroidery, Chinese frog closure techniques, and ribbon embroidery, machine piecing, applique, embroidery, and quilting, and also digital printing. Congratulations, Shan.
And our next category is Handmade, which is sponsored by Fat Quarter Shop. And in third place, we have Peacock by Naomi Otomu of Todishi, Saitama, Japan. Naomi says, I can't forget the beauty of a peacock feather I saw at my grandfather's house as a child. I love the color of the peacock's feathers. This quilt was created with the image of a peacock spreading its wings. The quilting designs were also created with the image of its feathers. While I was making this quilt, beautiful colored fabrics made me happy. This is an original design utilizing hand piecing, applique, quilting, and trapunto. So congratulations, Naomi. And coming up in second place, we have Be Fashionable on Rainy Days by Akiko Yoshimizu of Ashiya City, Hyogo, Japan. Akiko says Japan has a rainy season during which it rains continuously. I made this quilt because I wanted the girls to dress up and go out cheerfully even during such times. The girls are surrounded by hydrangea flowers that bloom cheerfully even in the rain. This is an original design that utilizes hand piecing, applique, embroidery, embellishment, and quilting. So congratulations, Akiku. And coming up in first place, we have Invitation to Japanese Tea Ceremony by Yoko Izumi of Hitachi, Abakari, Japan. Yoko says there are many things other than the chadogu that are needed for a tea ceremony. Kakajiku is one such item. Kakajiku are hung on the walls of the tea room and represent the seasons. I tried to express the Kakajiku of spring, summer, and autumn using grapes as a motif. In spring, the flowers bloom, in summer, the grapes bear fruit, and in autumn, the leaves turn red. The grape blossoms in spring are so beautiful that I enlarged them. This is an original design utilizing hand applique, embroidery, and quilting, and I really hope that I pronounced some of those words even close to what they're supposed to be.
Congratulations, Yoko. The next category is Appliqué, sponsored by thequiltshow.com. Let's start with third place. It goes to Karen K. Buckley of Carlisle, Pennsylvania. Color Splash Garden is the name. What Karen K says, I designed, hand appliqued, and long armed this piece. All aspects of making a quilt bring me such joy. I hope my joy carries in through to you, the viewer. This is an original design. It's hand applique and embroidery, machine quilting. Congratulations, Karen K. Such wonderful color. Second place goes to My Love Entwined by Liz Lignock of Wichita, Kansas. She says, a group of my quilting friends and I started this quilt in 2014, choosing our own fabrics and working at our own pace. My color inspiration came from a stack of about 5 pieces of fabric purchased at the Houston International Quilt Show before 2014, which consisted of brown, gray, and tan fabrics. One of my friends suggested adding purple to the mix. That seemed to be exactly what it needed. The design source is other. It is Love Entwined 1790 Marriage Coverlet Pattern by Esther Alui. The techniques that Liz used was hand applique and embroidery, machine piecing, and quilting. See, you can find really good things at the International Quilt Festival. Now, first place goes to Lapin. Megumi Mizuno of Shashiki, Saitama, Japan. My 10-year-old, she says, granddaughter loved playing with her stuffed rabbit when she was little. She took it with her wherever she went. I appliqued the fun memories of some of those times into a quilt. This is an original design. It includes hand piecing, applique, embroidery, and quilting, trapunto, mirror work, and beading. Congratulations, Megumi.
And coming up next, we have the abstract category, sponsored by Quilter Select. This is one of several new categories we have this year, so there's always a chance to find something to enter. And in third place, we have Cheshire by Stephanie Scardell of Dublin, Ohio. Stephanie says Cheshire was inspired by pushing boundaries with foundation paper piecing. How far and how extreme can you take this technique? 5 colors were selected after being designed digitally. The fabric was then cut via a laser cutter and foundation paper piece. It was quilted on a long arm. This is an original design that utilizes machine piecing and quilting. So congratulations, Stephanie. Coming up in second place, we have Durst Verse by Irene Roderick of Austin, Texas. Irene says this piece is entirely improvisational. I intended to use the contemporary fabrics that are being designed by artists and showcase them while making them part of my own art. I feel that sometimes the fabric designers are not given enough credit for the outstanding art they make for quilters. This is an original design that utilizes machine piecing and quilting. So congratulations, Irene. And coming up in first place, we have Red Molly by Karen K. Stone of Dallas, Texas. Karen says this was improvisationally pieced and machine quilted. The title is from Richard Thompson's song 1952 Vincent Black Lightning. And Richard Thompson is a great folk singer-songwriter if you ever want to check out his music. This is an original design that utilizes machine piecing and quilting. and ruler work. So congratulations, Karen.
The next category is Animal Kingdom, and it's brought to us by French European. I just want to say right now how much I appreciate all the sponsors that are willing to, put up these cash awards. It's very, very wonderful of them, and it shows how they support what we do as our art and craft. Third place goes to Tinker Bell by Carmen Brister of Porter, Texas. I took a picture of my son's bulldog, Tinkerbell, snoozing. I knew I had to paint this picture and bring it to life. As ink flowed, painting her sleepy folds was irresistible. Then, thread painting detailed each crease meticulously, mimicking her skin's texture. Stitches brought out depth, captured her relaxed form while tracing the contours of her skin and every slumbering wrinkle. This is an original design, hand painting, machine quilting, and thread painting. Congratulations, Carmen. I'm sure your son is thrilled with this. So now we go to second place. Family Ties by Junko Sugahara of Tokyo, Japan. She says, my friends happily talk about and show me pictures of their lovely dogs. They look so happy. Our beloved dogs are like family members, sharing our joy with us in happy times and gently supporting us when we're sad. I made this quilt featuring the dogs around me. This is an original design. The techniques include machine piecing, applique, embroidery, and quilting. Congratulations, Yuko. You caught those dogs spot on. All right. Then we have first place. And it goes to My Texas Spiny Lizard Muse by Lori Cook of Hewitt, Texas. The day is lovely, and once again, this Texas spiny lizard is out and about in my yard and my flower pots. He runs around my feet. Once I found him inside, sunbathing on my window blinds. To my surprise, he is calm and ready for his photo op. On hands and knees, I look into his eyes. I think we love each other. I wonder if he's a prince in disguise or a relative from another life. Thank you for inspiring me. You are my Texas spiny lizard muse. This is an original design, and Lori used the techniques of hand painting, machine embellishment, embroidery, thread painting, and quilting, professional fabric printing, mono printing, and collage. Congratulations, Lori.
Alex, I don't know if that's to scale, but that would be a little intimidating if that was looking at me through my window.
I know. Lori, you're a strong woman. Okay, let's move on. And it's yours now, Bob.
All right, coming up, we've got the Naturescape category, which is sponsored by the Warm Company. And in third place, we have Waiting for Spring by Hwa Kyung Lee, Gunpo-si, Gyeonggi-do, South Korea. She says, from the sight of old trees awaiting the upcoming spring, we see ourselves hoping for a brighter tomorrow. To portray the trees more vividly and three-dimensionally, I have bleached fabrics and applied couching techniques to add depth on top of them. This is an original design that utilizes hand and discharge dyeing, machine piecing, applique, couching, and quilting. So congratulations, Hwa Kyung Lee. Coming up in second place, we have Boulders at Lower Yosemite Falls by Sandra Mullen of Lincoln, California. Sandra says this raw edge fused collage quilt is based on a photo I took while hiking in Yosemite National Park. I love the intimacy of small landscape quilts that draw in the viewer. I wanted to show reflection and transparency and movement of the water, as well as the texture and color of the rocks. Small amounts of mixed media were added for realism. This is an original design that utilizes hand dyeing, fusing mixed media, machine applique, and quilting. So, congratulations, Sandra. And coming up in first place, we have Glimpse into the Forest by Pat Durbin of Arcata, California. Pat says, love for the redwood forest is my inspiration. I enjoy trying to draw the viewer into the forest to enjoy the view. My unusual techniques help me to use a lot of fabrics to piece together a picture. I hope you enjoy it. This is an original design that utilizes mosaic picture piecing, collage, and machine quilting. So, congratulations, Pat, on your first place win in another new category for the Judge Show this year.
All right, so coming up next is Alternative Techniques, sponsored by the International Quilt Festival, which, of course, they are sponsoring this whole event. In third place, we have Really Wild Flowers, fourth season, by Sharon Schlockshauser of Aurora, Colorado. What Sharon says is, this is the final and most complex piece in my whimsical dimensional Really Wild Flowers series. It's bright, playful scene of wild, as in crazy, fanciful, imaginative flowers and butterflies and arches, and it was designed to be cheerful and fun. 7 flowers have my signature dimensional open centers, and others are layered. The backside has a calming, peaceful, mirrored image. This is an original design, and Sharon used the techniques of hand applique, embellishment, embroidery, and painting, machine piecing, quilting, and applique, fabric manipulation, three-dimensional work, paper piecing, fabric enhancement, trapunto, piping, and ruler work. Wow. Congratulations, Sharon. You're really showing your skills here. In second place, we have Autumn by Colette Dumont of Saint Roman, QC, Canada. Now, what Colette says is, nature in autumn is full of colors, which inspires this quilt. It is the harvest time for me, and as a home gardener, celebrating the abundance of fruits and vegetables. Winter follows next, and the beaded border represents it with the colors of Christmas: white, red, and green. This is an original design, and Colette used the techniques of hand applique, painting, and beading, machine piecing, applique, embroidery, and quilting, original digitized embroidery, ruler work, bias work, which helped with the stained glass look. Congratulations, Colette. Okay, so now we have first place of Alternative Techniques category. It goes to Ripple Effect by Hollis Shadling of Hillsborough, North Carolina. Hollis says, I made Ripple Effect as a testimony of what is happening in our country. From 1998 to March 2023, there were more than 493 school shootings in the United States. There have been many more since. This has been an enormous ripple effect in our schools and communities. The active shooting drills are causing trauma among our students and teachers. How much longer must we allow this to continue? When will our children be more precious than our guns? This is an original design, hand painted with acrylic paints, professional fabric printing, whole cloth quilt, and machine quilting. Congratulations, Hollis.
Coming up next, we've got People, Portraits, and Figures, sponsored by Wonderful Threads. And in third place, we have Let's Have a Coffee Break by Noriko Nozawa of Chiba, Japan. Noriko says, one of my husband's pleasures is carefully grinding and brewing coffee to serve to the family. Enjoying a cup of coffee with him is my mellow time. The theme of this piece is a scene from a calm, everyday afternoon with the aroma of coffee in the air. I can smell it now. I designed it with a moderate contrast to make the soft light shining through the kitchen curtains stand out. The piece was drawn using only machine embroidery thread colors. This is an original design utilizing machine piecing, embroidery, quilting, and original digitized embroidery and quilting. So, congratulations, Noriko. And coming up in second place, we have Survivor by Alexandra Curran of Newport News, Virginia. Alexandra says his road was painful and difficult, but the hardships did not destroy him, they made him stronger. Each struggle he overcame made him lift his head higher and walk taller. He became a proud survivor. This is an original design utilizing machine applique and quilting, turned edge Dupioni silk applique. Congratulations, Alexandra. And finally, in first place, we have The Man Lost in His Memories by Marina Landi of Sao Paulo, Brazil, with Fabia Diniz. Marina says, my style is characterized by the fusible raw-edged applique in a wide range of colors in the composition of figurative images. The challenge of transmitting expressions and feelings through small fragments of fabric leads me to represent mainly human physiognomies. This is an original design that utilizes hand cutting, painting, and dyeing, digital printing, fusing, and machine applique and quilting. So congratulations to Marina and Fabia.
Up next, we have Balanced Piecing and Applique, sponsored by Bernina of America. In third place, we have Kaleidoscope Garden by Judy Balance of Huntsville, Alabama, with Patty Wilson. She says this quilt uses vibrant colors, intricate curved piecing, wool applique, and hand embellished embroidery stitches. The quilt evokes looking through a kaleidoscope at a magical garden. On the outside edges of the quilt, darker fabrics were used to create a border. I love to do a combination of wool and cotton with hand embroidery to give a dimensional look to my quilts. The design is a pattern by Wendy Williams called Fairground. The techniques used were hand embellishment and embroidery, machine piecing, applique, and quilting. Congratulations, Judy and Patty. Second place goes to Floriferous by Luz Seidensticker of Bethel Park, Pennsylvania. Luz says, the blooming of flowers every spring reminds me of nature's power of renewal, change, transformation, and movement. But above all, it reminds me that there's always hope. This is an original design, hand appliqued, machine piecing, applique, and quilting. Congratulations, Luz. And in first place, East Meets West by Molly Hamilton McNally of Coto de Caza, California, with Yangon. This quilt has an interesting and unusual background. It's a unique collaboration and combination of the skills of two women, a Chinese student and her Chinese American teacher. It shows the meeting of the East and the West by incorporating the two traditional methods of paper piecing. The Western technique at the center of the quilt and the hand applique for the Eastern surrounding designs. The entire quilt is made of silk. Art unites the world. Boy, I agree with that. The design is original and inspired by two traditional paper piecing methods. Techniques used were hand applique, machine piecing, and quilting. Thank you, Molly and Yang. Okay, here we go, Bob.
All right, here it is. We're getting into the Master Awards. Can you feel the excitement across the internet as we get closer? So our Master Awards are all named, and these are $5,000 awards by very generous sponsors. And again, I want to reiterate that these are non-purchase awards, so the quilter gets the entirety of the amount. So $5,000 for each of these Master Awards. So the first one will be the allbrands.com Master Award for Thread Artistry. This is sponsored by allbrands.com. And our winner is Family by Yoshiyuki Ishizaki of Ashiya City, Hyogo, Japan. Yoshiyuki says adding embroidery to applique makes all the difference. It seems like the more effort that goes into it, the more gorgeous it becomes. This is an original design that features hand applique, embroidery, quilting, and trapunto. So congratulations, Yoshiyuki, on this first Master Award.
Okay, well, coming up next is the Award for Contemporary Artistry, sponsored by Inova. And again, this is a $5,000 award. It goes to Color My World by Karen K. Buckley of Carlisle, Pennsylvania. Karen says, this quilt started with the Bluebird block as a teaching project. And then I wondered if I could create a larger quilt with this concept. Each block contains a critter, for instance, an insect, animal, or bird. Some are hidden and others are obvious. After finishing the blocks, I designed the center and planned to include all the critters, but I could not find the right place for one of them. Can you figure out which one is missing from the center? That would be a day's job, right, Bob?
Yeah.
Okay, so this is, of course, an original design. And Karen did hand applique and embroidery, machine quilting. Karen, congratulations.
And coming up next, we have the Janome Master Award for Innovative Artistry. This is sponsored by Janome and again is a $5,000 award. And our winner this year is Painted Ponies on the Prairie by Melissa Sobotka of Richardson, Texas. And Melissa, I'm sorry if I butchered your last name there. But she says this image depicts a traveling carnival and horse-powered merry-go-round on the plains of Nebraska and South Dakota during the early 1900s. Attendees of the carnival include the Sioux Native Americans, who enjoyed riding the merry-go-round's painted ponies. The carnival was operated by Marion and Edith Whaley, my husband's great-grandparents. The Sioux became fond of the Whaleys and gifted Edith with moccasins for her tired feet and a beaded purse to hold tickets. So this design is from a personal family photo from Twyla Sobotka and uses professional fabric printing, machine applique and quilting, fusing, and enhancements with ink and pencil. So congratulations, Melissa.
Coming up next is the award for traditional artistry, and it's sponsored by Grace Company. And the winner is Poco a Poco by Kiko Morihiro of Sanda City, Hogoken, Japan. She says, about 10 years ago, I started working on a hexagonal quilt, but stopped halfway through because I had too many pieces. 4 years ago, I started working on this quilt again and was finally able to complete it. Okay, everybody, sit down for this. The numbers of hexes used to complete this quilt was 30,833. And all of the hexie pieces were quilted in a rocking stitch, and each side of the hexie paper liner is 8 millimeters long. People, I had to look it up. That's 1/3 of an inch. It's an original design with hand piecing and quilting and English paper piecing. Congratulations, Kiko.
And our final Master Award is the eQuilter.com Master Award for Machine Artistry. Again, a $5,000 prize sponsored by eQuilter.com. And the winner is Tricuspid Biomorph Number 2 by Carol Breyer Fowler Gentry of Port Townsend, Washington. Carol says, for this quilt, I resurrected some designs based on doodles I drew inside radially symmetrical hexagons in 1995. In CorelDRAW, I placed the hexagonal shapes in a rectangle, extended the lines within the hexagon to the edges of the rectangle, then tweaked them until I had a line drawing I liked. I filled the spaces between the lines with color gradations and images of fabric I hand painted with dye. Then the hummingbird was added just for fun. So this is an original design that utilizes hand dyeing and painting, machine piecing and quilting, digital printing, professional fabric printing, digital design, and digital painting. So congratulations, Carol.
So I don't know. I think I'm done.
All right,
What
thanks everyone for watching, and we'll see you again next year. No, no, no.
Okay, so here's the biggie. Here is the biggie. And
Should I do a drum
this,
roll here?
yeah, yeah. There we go. Woo, 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 woo. That's what's going on in the auditorium. Handy Quilter sponsored this. And get this, everybody, it's a $12,500 award. Again, the artist gets to keep their piece. Not a purchase award. So it's pretty wonderful. The artist gets the quilt and the money. And the winner is The Visitation by Ricky Timms of Pueblo, Colorado. Here's what he said. Original hand-dyed fabrics were assembled using curved piecing, not paper piecing. The raven was created with bobbin embroidered feathers and invisible turned edge applique. The moon is from an original photo that was digitized and printed. The raven symbolizes foreboding darkness. The clock suggests using time wisely. The tree represents wisdom, not dead but dormant. The quilted leaves suggest spring will soon emerge. The time suggests midnight approaches, but a new day will dawn. Design, other. The tree was, in part, derived from my words via an AI source, with all other elements being original, layered, and combined by me to create the whole. Techniques used were hand embroidery, dyeing, and painting, machine piecing, applique, embellishment, embroidery, quilting, digitized quilting, digital printing, and professional fabric painting. Ricky, congratulations. My heart couldn't be happier for you. And I want to put this out here. If you go to YouTube, he has a mini documentary on how he made this, and I have not seen it yet. Just look for The Visitation by Ricky Timms. I think you will enjoy it. Whew, Bob.
All right, what amazing quilts this year. I'm so excited about this. I want to remind everyone the complete winners list and photos of the quilts with the artist statements will be posted at quilts.com later today. And of course, this will be available for viewing at your leisure afterwards. And again, Alex, what a wonderful collection of quilts this year. Really, really inspiring. I can't wait to see them all live in Houston at Festival, October 9th through 12th.
And I'll see you there too, along with the quilts and all of the other quilts too. I mean, wow, I plan to wear really good walking shoes. I don't know about you.
Well, we always say that the one piece of advice we always give newbies at Quilt Festival is wear comfortable shoes.
I thought it was fashion ends at the knees.
Hey, you can utilize both. I have no idea what kind of getup you're going to be wearing, Alex, but I'm sure it'll be something exciting as usual.
Exactly. Hey, Bob, thank you so much for letting me do this with you. As always, your organization just rocks. So, hey, everybody, have a good day, celebrate, and I'll see you soon, right?
We'll see you in Houston.